If I could only keep 5 FPS games with me for the rest of the time, what would they be? Now, these aren't necessarily the best FPS games ever. Some of those really great games, you just play once, you finish them, you experienced it, and you're good. You're probably not going to play them again. So I thought to myself, which games do I consistently go back to time after time after time? They just keep getting booted up, and I keep putting effort into them. These are the games that you depend upon, the ones that you just continually revisit. Now, I don't think my 5 on this list are the best FPS games ever. These are just my personal favorites that I come back to time and time again. You should leave your top 5 down below for me, because everybody's list will be a little bit different. Maybe you prefer single-player FPS games, or maybe you're full-on co-op and multiplayer. But I'd love to know what yours is. Starting with number 1, of course, it's Titanfall 2. It will always be a shame that this game did not get the wider appeal and popularity that it deserved. Titanfall 2's multiplayer is by far one of the most unique experiences within FPS gaming. And I've poured so much time into this game on both Xbox One and PC, I have nothing but positive memories of it. Nothing. Like literally, I love this game to this day so much. Not only is the multiplayer a pure blast of tech-based movement, but the single player, oh my gosh. The single player is an absolute FPS masterpiece. It's not too long, but not too short, with moments that are still excellent and crafted and designed so well. Even to this day, it measures up. I have yet to try out the North Star mod that allows players to create custom servers and completely bypass the respawn server system. And I need to, because every single time I come back to Titanfall 2, I just fall in love again. When this game first came out, I went crazy on the channel, trying to tell everybody that I could to play this game. I bought it for multiple friends over the years, and I even used to do a regular Monday night gaming session just for this title for a few months. Titanfall 2 is, and will always be, a masterpiece in my eyes, a game that I love, and one that I hope we see a sequel to someday. I mean, it's Counterstrike. This is the pure definition of a game that you just return to over and over again. The competitive grind is always there for you to pour your life into if you want, and there's always going to be crazy custom servers, and surf maps, and gun game matches, and way more to relax on. This will forever be one of the greatest FPS games ever made. I've been playing since 1.6, and man, the adventure has always delivered. It's always been worth the price. Now, I'm not great at Counter-Strike, and probably never will be. The highest rank I ever achieved was Gold Nova 3, but I never really cared that much. I mean, the games competitively are so fun by itself, and there's so much depth there that it's infinitely replayable. Find any PC FPS gamer, and they will always have Counter-Strike in their Steam library. Ultra solid mechanics, a skill ceiling you can dedicate your life to and never top out, plus tons of community-made servers and funky game modes to keep Counter-Strike a game that I continually go back to time and time and time again. I debated this next one quite a bit, but I think it's true. I don't know if I can live without Splitgate now. Splitgate takes the things that I enjoyed so much growing up with PC FPS gaming, the Unreal tournaments, the Quakes, the arena shooters, and blends it with a sandbox reminiscent of Halo's, all with its own mechanic in the Portal system. I'm just gonna say it, this game is a great game even without the Portal mechanic. A long time I thought it was just sort of like a novelty, but the more I lean into that Portal mechanic, the more I realize it is a radical game changer for the FPS genre. I'm not saying it's for everyone. Splitgate can be a total turnoff for people who have no interest in trying to keep track of movement tech that involves blasting around the map and shutting down your enemy's portals. But for those who do enjoy it and recognize what a huge potential this arena shooter has, they get it, man. And Splitgate is one of those titles that I can see going back to time and time again. I've been covering it here on the channel from the very beginning, and I always wanted to see this thing succeed. And when it blew up last year with the big COD exodus during the summer, it was so encouraging and exciting to see. 1047 Games has a gem on their hands here. And honestly, they've done an amazing job not giving up and continuing to put effort into what is, for me, one of the only FPS titles that you can go and have relaxed fun time and time again. With crazy arena game types, the big head modes, all of that stuff that reminds me of the good old days of Unreal Tournament, growing up playing high-speed arena shooters. Splitgate is a game that delivers. Now, speaking of a game that delivers, I thought about putting a Battle Royale on this list, and if I were, it would be Apex Legends. I really thought about it. I have to throw this game in here. I have to, because I've come back for so many years, and I've always been amazed every time. That's Battlefield 4, man. This game puts modern Battlefield titles to shame. The amount of maps, the visuals, the design, the levolution, all of it and more make this still one of the best Battlefield games ever made. Now, I may have put more time into Battlefield 3, but Battlefield 4 on PC has been a game that I still come back to always. And you know what? It always delivers. Visually, it's still gorgeous. The actual mechanics of the gameplay are so solid. Options galore for the equipment you want to use, and the Battlefield moments are always present. And I think that's why I respect this game so much. Every time I sit down to play, my jaw still hits the floor over a silly or epic moment that just reminds you of why the Battlefield community loves this series so much. I want to see the modern iterations of Battlefield succeed, and I think they don't need to look very far. Just look back at Battlefield 4. This, in my eyes, is a shining example of almost a perfect FPS game. Yeah, it launched really rough, but over time became something that is well worth the money and more. I'll keep coming back to Battlefield 4 until there's a new Battlefield that can dethrone it. In my eyes, that's not going to happen anytime soon. And this one is no surprise if you watch this channel. I love this game. I still have memories of when this thing came out. It was a school day for me. I got up at 3 a.m., put a few hours into the campaign, and as soon as I got home that day, finished the campaign later that night. I was singing the theme song during the final Warthog run, and then the multiplayer. Without a doubt, this is the one Halo game moving forward I never want to live without. I go back to the Master Chief Collection regularly, and I'm telling you, 95% of my time is spent on this game. Bungie killed it with Halo 3. This was phenomenal at the time, and quite frankly, it still puts modern Halo games to shame with how robust and good a campaign it had at the start. Amazing custom games, Forge, the theater system, and how the file share operated. All with a ranked system and a progression system that kept people playing for years and years and years. In my eyes, this is about as perfect a Halo game as you can get. And mechanically, I may have enjoyed Halo 2 a little bit more, and there's certain elements of CE's campaign that still stand out to me, but without a doubt, Halo 3 is a game that I will forever have in the collection. It is a game that I go back to all the time. At least once a month, I'm hopping back in for quite a few Halo 3 matches. And it always delivers. Mechanically sound, not overly complex, an incredible map pool, and a community that has kept this game going for such a long time. For me, I can't live without Halo 3. And it could be 20 years in the future and I still think I'm going to be saying that. This game left a high watermark for FPS console games, and it still remains in my eyes one of my favorite Halo titles of all time. So those are my 5. What are yours? Let me know about it in the comments down below. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. And check out the video on screen if you want to learn if stretched Halo Infinite gives you any sort of an advantage. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again very soon.